Hi everyone, it's Julie and I'm back with the second card from our second month of our marker club. The second card features the Magical Day stamp set, and we're going to utilize this image right here, the little mermaid, and also this adorable little seahorse. Here's the card right here, and the inside looks like that. Okay, so we're going to start off with a piece of Whisper white cardstock that's cut by 11 by 4 1/4 and scored at 5 1/2. Our top layer, building the card from the bottom up, we're going to use a piece of Bermuda Bay, which is cut at 5 1/4 by 4. We're going to layer it with a piece of Whisper white cardstock that's cut 5 by 3 3/4. And as you notice, I have this side of the Whisper white cardstock embossed, and that's embossed with a brand new embossing folder called Petal Pair, and it does have 2 in the pair. We'll snail these 2 together. Okay, and then we're going to snail this directly on the card. Okay, the next layer, we're going to take a piece of Bermuda Bay cardstock and a piece of DSP. The Bermuda Bay is cut at 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 by 3 5/8. The DSP is from the same pack that we used on the first card, the Myths and Magic DSP. And if you notice, one side has glitter on it and the other side is plain. So every piece in this set has glitter on one side. And this is cut at 2 5/8 by 3 1/2. We're going to snail these 2 together. And as you can see, again, we're using a very slim border. And as you can see, I have a little extra there, so I'm going to just trim this off and I'll be right back. Okay, so that's better. Anyway, we're going to add some dimensionals on the back of here. I hope you didn't hear me almost fall. I thought that was funny. Okay, we're going to center this right on the card. Now we're going to get to the stamping. We're going to stamp on a piece of Whisper white cardstock that is cut at 2 1/8 by 2 1/8 onto a piece of Bermuda Bay that's cut 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. So again, we're going to use the little mermaid. Make sure you get enough ink on here. And again, we're using the Memento ink. Stamp this right down. And now we're going to start coloring. We're going to start off with the light Bermuda Bay. And I'm just going to add a little layer on here. I don't like to go all the way to the edge because this tends to bleed. And then you'll be outside the lines and you probably won't be too happy. And instead of using the dark Bermuda Bay today, I'm using both for shading and covering the whole image. I'm using the light Bermuda Bay. I felt that if I used the dark, it was going to be too dark. Now I'm going to go back and just add some color. Just another layer, and see how I'm just adding it And now I'm going to blend. I'm going to show you a little trick with this in a second too. Your specialty marker this month was the flesh, and it's called Ivory. So we're just going to color in her face and her arms. Okay, and finally we're going to do her hair in light crumb cake. These markers are so easy to work with. All right, and then I'm just going to add some shading. And as you know, your hair gets lighter, it seems, as it gets to the ends. Okay, I'm going to grab my color lifter and add something for you. I'm going to take some of the color off here in the center for shading. And you see how it's lightening up. This color lifter works really well. And if you see right here, it bled outside of the lines a little bit, and I'm just cleaning it up. All right, so I think we're done with this image. We're going to snail it to the Bermuda Bay. Now again, notice that it bled through, so make sure that your work surface is protected. Okay, we're going to add dimensionals to the back of this. Also, I'm going to add the seahorses on, but before I do that, I'm adding this on, and if you notice, I'm not centering it. I'm putting it a little bit higher. That's going to allow me to add some ribbon. I should have done this before I adhere this to the card, but it's no problem whatsoever. So we're going to tie a bow right here. And this ribbon is from the Celebration. You get 3 rows of ribbon, this one in Bermuda Bay, another one in Calypso Coral, and a third roll in Basic Gray. And it happens to be a free item in the Celebration by spending just $50 from now until March 31st. Trim this off. So we have our bow. And then finally, what we're going to do is we're going to stamp this little seahorse on a piece of scrap paper and color that in. I have it. This set does come in a bundle, and if you'd like to purchase it as a bundle, you get the framelits and the stamp set at 10% off. So we're just gonna color the seahorse in with the Calypso Coral, and I just kind of do a dot along the tail, just barely dot it. come back with the dark Calypso Coral. Add on the fins. Okay. And then we're going to take it to the Big Shot and cut them out with the framelits. And like I said, I have an assistant today, so she actually cut them out for me. We're going to add them on with just a glue dot. We're going to place one here, and the second one we'll place a little bit lower. Okay, so the outside is done, with exception of I'm going to add some Winkostella, and I'm just going to add it right on the fins so she sparkles a little bit, and on the tail. What the heck, let's do the hair today. Okay, I don't know if you can see it, but it's really pretty in person. Now we're going to take the inside, and as you can see from my card here, I stamped a few of the seahorses. Make sure it's right side up. We'll quickly color these in. And this time, since they're not cut out, we have the little water bubbles here. We're going to use Bermuda Bay on that. Just kind of dot them. And finally, adding in the fins. I made this card in front of some friends a couple weeks ago, actually during Christmas time, and they all had to make them. Right there with me. Okay. We're going to add some snail to the Bermuda Bay, and the Bermuda Bay is cut at 5 1/4 by 4. The Whisper White is cut at 3 3/4 by 5. Layer these two together. Bring my card back in and snail this down. And there you have it. There's your second card. So I hope you're enjoying the Blender Club. I have some really pretty cards planned for next month, and I'll see you then. Thank you. Bye-bye.